Hi there, it's Tracy Zamiska. I'm just here to give you a couple of quick grounding tips, or I guess you could say that they're like mini meditations. I have people ask me, I would say regularly, about how to kind of come back into themselves and into their bodies when they're faced with difficult people, situations, maybe in their everyday lives, work, whatever, family, friends. Um, And a lot of times, the reason that we start to feel kind of imbalanced or ungrounded when we're in situations that are stressful or difficult or traumatic in any way is that we start to kind of pull up into ourselves. So it's actually a lot more comfortable to be kind of in the upper part of our bodies, in the, if you want to look at it from a pranic or chi standpoint, the upper chakras, so the heart, throat, third eye, and crown chakras are just kind of sometimes more comfortable places for us to be. They're more linked with our emotions and also, kind of overthinking, which culturally we do that all the time, and it's almost encouraged, it seems, to be in a place where we overthink and become and become worrisome and anxious all the time. There's a big difference between being mindful and contemplative and being anxious and worried. So, just as a side note, kind of be mindful of that too. When you feel overwhelmed, tap into yourself and see, what am I doing? What patterns are going on here? Am I obsessing, overthinking, trying to control, or am I really being contemplative and aware of myself and my emotions and how I'm feeling? So the goal always, when we start to feel kind of disconnected like that, or feel the desire sometimes to disconnect and to make space between us and kind of the people around us or the environment that we're in, it's important to, acknowledge that and then kind of recenter and bring ourselves back into our bodies. And, our center of our body is a little bit lower. So certainly the solar plexus can be considered the actual kind of center or midpoint of our body. And it, definitely acts as a link. And I think that also, when you think about our equilibrium, our balance comes from, oftentimes it's kind of in that place midway between the sacral chakra and the solar plexus. So just a smidge below the belly button is kind of where you can think of your balance center almost coming from. And oftentimes, we hear about in our culture lots of digestive issues and dysfunctions. And often it comes from this idea of not really being in touch with that part of our body and being kind of disconnected from all of that. So, two visualizations that help me oftentimes when I'm feeling this way or feeling the desire to kind of get away or remove myself. Hopefully one of them will resonate. And the first one, which is really simple, they're both really simple, but this one's kind of the most simplistic and quick way to kind of come back into yourself and your environment. You can picture yourself anywhere outside that feels good to you. You can imagine your flower beds, your front lawn. You can think of being at the beach, even if that's a safe place for you or a place that you like to go to all the time. A field, a forest, wherever. It doesn't even have to be a place you've ever been. It can be an imaginary place that you picture in your mind that brings you comfort and makes you feel steady. And then I want you to imagine, and you can do this one standing up really easily, which is why sometimes it's more accessible, especially in the workplace. But you'll close your eyes, and I suggest often to bring your hands to your belly. So one to your belly and one behind, maybe on your sacrum or your low back, and kind of feel that connection between the two and start to bring your awareness there. And then settle all the way down. So you'll bring your awareness all the way down the legs to the feet. And imagine that your feet are buried in the earth all the way above the ankles. So if the beach was what you thought of, just imagine sand around your feet. Otherwise, you're going to imagine soil. And I also like to think of the soil almost like a hand underneath each one of our feet. So it's not a gripping hand that's pulling us down. It's a platform that is soft and supportive and really holding us. and you'll feel kind of a holding or a wrapping of the soil around your feet. And just breathe into that place and really feel that deep, nurturing support that comes from the earth. And bringing your awareness and your breath down your body, it'll help start to kind of really link you in to your center and to being grounded. The second one, which is slightly more involved, and you can do it sitting on the ground or sitting in a chair. You can even do it standing up. It's just how good you can visualize and how much you need physically to be supported in this way. So I just want you to imagine leaning up against a tree, and the tree is really strong and stable, but it also has a softness to it and a nurturing support to it. And you can almost think of the side of the tree that you're sitting on to be slightly concave so that it wraps a little bit around your body. It's wrapping around your hips and up your torso and your arms and around your shoulders slightly, and supporting your head very comfortably and very softly. And then become aware with your breath of the lengthening of the spine. So think of lengthening through the top of your head and then down through the tailbone, having a nice and neutral, soft spine, soft shoulders, relaxing the jaw, relaxing the neck, relaxing the hips and the low back. And imagine your spine just kind of aligned right up with the tree, being nicely supported. And then start to bring your awareness down to your tailbone. And you can imagine your tailbone starting to extend out of the body and starting to intermingle with the roots of the tree. So it's going all the way down into the ground. And if this is enough for you, you can stay here. But I also often, for me, I access this visualization when I'm feeling really kind of flustered or out of my element or just kind of disconnected or disorganized. And I like to visualize my tailbone or my spine going all the way down into the earth, to the center of the earth. And we think of the center of the earth as this core of molten rock and lava, and very hot and also very strong. Obviously, fire is extremely transformational, and it contains a lot of power. So when you start to feel this disconnectedness or this desire to kind of leave or get out of the space or get out of your body or whatever it is, escape, tapping into that power will help you tap into your personal power. And it's kind of an encouragement. You can even see it kind of coming up your tailbone back into your body and feeding you. So I think of myself as kind of anchoring in there. And I continue that acknowledgement and that purposefulness of anchoring for the entire day. So I don't just come to this visualization in the moment of distress. I come there at distress and I stay anchored for the whole day until I go to bed at night. And sometimes I even kind of think of leaving that anchor there, holding me in space so that I am not able to really kind of be overcome by that need or that desire to pull away. And all of this, of course, is a practice in being in the moment. The part about being in the moment that can be difficult is being in the moment isn't always fun. You know, being fully aware and being fully present means that you're also fully aware and fully present of your feelings and your emotions and the triggers that you might have from things in the past, and those emotions and those experiences and what those consequences are of those situations. So, you know, it's that same kind of idea of we're striving for this balance and we're striving for this ability to be fully present and to be part of the space that's happening to us. But you have to acknowledge that on the other side of that, there are sometimes unpleasant situations or unpleasant memories or feelings, and ways to overcome those situations where you feel sort of trapped or like you want to get away or escape or just overwhelmed is to come back to this idea of anchoring ourselves. And so often we are encouraged to explore things outside of our bodies to help us feel better, whether it's people or things or stuff. And really, we always hold the key to whatever it is that we need deeply inside of us. So if you can access that and you can practice accessing it, it becomes a lot easier not only to access it in the future very quickly, but also to need to anchor less, because you will maintain that connection to yourself and to the earth for longer stretches of time the more often that you practice this. and it will become a comfortable place, and it will start to become home base for you. And then that moment where you normally might feel overwhelmed or distraught or wanting to get away will lessen over time, and things will be easier to handle and easier to deal with. So just take time, to practice those, and let me know if you have any questions. Of course, you can always reach me via email, or you can check out my website, tracysamisca.com, and there's my contact information is available there. And also check out the other meditations I have. And good luck with everything and your anchoring practice. Thank you.